How you guys doing? Dr. Bill here at Thompson Healthcare and Sports Medicine in our Lacey office in our physical therapy department. Today we're going to be talking about knee pain. Now on October 9th we're going to have a workshop coming on about knee pain where basically you're going to come, you can ask us questions, we're going to give you information, and we'll probably do a little bit of assessment too. We're going to have our physical therapy, chiropractic, and acupuncture there basically discussing knee pain. And the type of knee pain we're discussing this time is actually going to be arthritis. So that typical stiffness and pain you get typically in the morning. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you certain exercises to help with the stiffness that you get typically with sitting too long, kneeling, squatting, things like that. So you might have heard of something called a movie theater knee. Basically what that means is that when you sit for any long period of time, that could be anywhere 15 minutes to an hour, that knee gets pretty stiff. You know, you start to get pain, you have to kick the leg straight. And then what happens is you get up, you have that stiffness and that pain again, and you have to walk it off. So a lot of times that comes because there's arthritis in the joint, which basically just means that the joint is starting to degenerate a little bit, but there also is a lot of tightness in the muscles that comes with this. So what I want to do today is I want to show you a couple of easy ways to loosen up your quadriceps. That's that muscle right here. And there's going to be a lot of ways to do it so that you don't have to worry about, you can't get this position, you can't get that position. All right, so let's get going with that. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is your standard quad stretch. That's the one where you reach back, you grab your foot, and you try to bring it towards your butt. And I want to go over certain problems that can arise with this. The first being, if you watch my lower back, as soon as I go, my lower back starts to arch backwards, and a lot of times people never correct this. The other thing is that if you look from this direction, my knee starts to glance to the outside. So typically to solve this, what I'll tell people is to actually let your knee come forward a little bit more, and then grab with the opposite hand, and that'll correct both of those problems, all right? Next up, we're going to show you some alternatives to that, because that's actually not my favorite way to stretch your quads, because a lot of people have balance issues and back problems, and that can really exacerbate them. So this next one is a half kneeling hip flexor stretch. So you have to be able to kneel on your knee for it. If you can't kneel on your knee at all, we'll skip right to the next one. But if you have a cushion at home, and that'll help you, a pillow, couch pillow, anything like that is really good to do. Another thing you'll need for this one is something to hold on to for a little bit of balance. And this is kind of a subtle move. What you really want to do is you want to flatten your lower back just by squeezing your hips forward, even just by squeezing your glutes. And you should get a little bit of a stretch going down the thigh just from that already. If you don't feel enough of a stretch, typically what you're going to do is you're going to pull through your front foot, just like that. So that's it. That's all the motion I'm doing, and I have a very big stretch right here. And then for people who really feel like they can improve and advance on this, you can actually lean forward, grab that back foot, and then get back in the position again, and that's an even bigger stretch. But I'm going to show you an alternative to this if you can't kneel on your knee. So our next one is going to be an alternate to the last one that we did with kneeling on it. So this is if you can't kneel on that knee. And again, the goal is to stretch the quads right here. So you're going to line up with one foot in front of the other. This is the leg that I'm stretching. Hands on the countertop, back of the couch, on the wall. And all you're going to do is bring your body forward just like that. You should feel a stretch right down the front of your leg. If you need to get a little bit further, you can give a little bit more of a squat to it on that front leg, or just walk the foot out a little bit further, and that'll get you a little bit extra motion. So our next two are both going to be laying down, and I'll explain the first one, then we'll show it. So the first one's actually going to be laying on your stomach, so of course you have to be able to lay on your stomach for it. Another issue with it that I'll normally tell a lot of people is to actually get a pillow right here when you're laying down, so that your lower back can stay in a nice natural position as opposed to overextending. So what you're going to do is you're going to need either a belt loop or a dog leash or even one of these stretch out straps. You're going to put it onto your foot, onto the toe, and then you're going to pull your leg up to bend your knee, bringing the strap over your opposite shoulder. And we're going to show you that right now. So our last one has you on your back, typically on a bed. What you want to make sure is that you're not too far over on the side of your bed that you fall off when you pull, but you also want to make sure you're over far enough that your leg can stay straight. You want the opposite knee bent, that way you can really let your lower back relax a little bit. If it's flat, your lower back's really going to arch up. And all you're going to do is just pull your foot straight back so you get that stretch right on the top of the thigh. So those are just some easy stretches that you can do to help with your knee pain if you're having knee pain with sitting. Because remember, you don't have to put up with that, you don't have to deal with that. If you want to go out to dinner with your spouse, if you want to go to the movies with the kids or the grandkids, you should be able to do that. For most stretches, remember to hold for about 90 to 100 seconds total. So that's either 3 sets of 30 seconds or 10 sets of 10 seconds or anywhere in between, really. Thank you for joining us. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook. Remember, we have our workshop on the knee coming October 9th at 6:30 p.m. That'll be at the Lacey location, and we'll have more info about that in the notes to the video. And thanks for stopping by. Once again, I'm Dr. Bill.